But then the head trash for me is like, you don't have a certificate in that, you don't have a degree in that. Like, that dumb shit gets in my head. Like, it could all just go away. Like, it's a fluke that I'm able to stand up there and perform.
Welcome to the Smart Gets Paid podcast with me, Leah Niederthal. I help women land higher paying clients in their independent consulting businesses, but I've never been a salesperson. My background is in corporate marketing, and when I started my first consulting business, I learned pretty quickly that it's about 1,000 times harder to sell your own stuff than it is to sell someone else's. So I taught myself how to do it, and I created the sales approach that I now share with my clients, so they can feel more comfortable in the sales process, get more of the right clients, and get paid way more for every client contract. So whether your client contracts are $5,000, $100,000, or more, if you want to work with more of the clients you love, do more of the work you love, and get paid more than you ever thought you could, then you're in the right place. Let's do it together. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to rate, review, and share. Hey there, Leah here, and thanks for tuning in. I hope wherever you are right now, wherever you're listening to this, I hope you're having a great week, making some good progress in your business, and taking some time for you. So in today's episode, we're going to talk through something that everybody has, but we all hate, and we all kind of need to get rid of. Because in this episode, we're talking about head trash. We'll get back to that in a second. Because today, you're going to be listening in on a coaching call with one of my clients. She's a coach and a consultant who helps mid-career professionals, directors, and leadership teams unlock their authentic leadership. And when we started our conversation, we were going back and forth about all the different directions that her business could take. Should she continue to run programs for individuals, or really shifting more towards working with organizations and leadership teams? But as we dug deeper, our conversation turned into something even more powerful. And the real issue wasn't choosing a direction to go, but rather it was more about what was holding her back. And what was holding her back is head trash. Now, when I say head trash, you probably already know what I mean, but it's all that mental clutter, mental noise that tells us that we can't do what we want to do, or we shouldn't do what we want to do. Head trash says things like, you're not ready yet, or it says you're not qualified enough. Or for a lot of people, it says, you should get another certification or degree before you even try this thing. Or, what's also really common for head trash to say is, other people already do this better, so why bother? And really, head trash can sound different for each person, right? Based on their background or your family of origin or your history or whatever, right? But head trash is always there. And that's the tricky thing about head trash. It's everywhere. Every woman I've ever worked with, every consultant I've coached, everybody has it. I'm sure you have it, and I have it too. It's also so insidious because head trash feels so true. It sounds like this rational voice of caution when it's really just fear, dressed up as logic. And that's why I wanted to share this conversation with you, because you'll not only hear my client, naming her head trash out loud, but you'll also hear how we start to dismantle it. And what's really special about this call is that, my client didn't just talk through her own head trash. She also invited me to share my head trash. And so you're going to hear me get really real about my doubts and the imposter syndrome I've experienced and, still experience in my own business. So in our conversation, you're going to hear how to recognize when head trash is running the show. You're going to hear why you actually don't need another certification or another credential to do the work you're already doing. You're going to learn a simple shift that helps you replace your inner critic with a stronger, more confident voice that's still yours. You're going to learn the surprising truth, maybe surprising, I guess, about the imposter syndrome that I've struggled with and how I work through it. And why waiting for the, air quotes, right way to do something might actually be keeping you stuck. I want to send a huge thank you to my client for allowing me to share this conversation with you. So take a listen, and at the end, I'll come back and share a lesson that you can apply to your business.
I'm looking at my calendar and I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like, what am I doing? Yeah, what am I doing?
In what respect?
This is kind of like blank slate where my goal for summer was to kind of line up business for the fall, but I am trying to discern like what I want to line up. I feel a little conflicted. So it'd be helpful to talk through these things that I'm debating.
Okay. Let's talk through what you're thinking so that maybe we can point you in the right direction. Okay, so from here, we spend about 20 minutes talking about what she truly wants in her business and where she wants to go with her consulting work. And by the end, she has a pretty clear vision of what she'd like to be doing. And then I ask this question. So what is keeping you from like going after these organizations?
I mean, it probably is like confidence. Like, can I do it? But I think I like in my head, I'm like, oh, but they won't pay for this or they won't pay enough. And so then I like hedge myself from like fully just being like, nope, that's who I want to work with. That's who I want to help create something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some of them won't and some of them will.
Yeah.
But if, it's like if we let our head trash dictate, then we're never going to do anything. Right. So what is that head trash though? Where's that coming from?
The head trash was like, oh, you should be working with like corporates and the people who have big budgets and they're the ones that like don't care about, dropping 20K on doing like a retreat. And then it's going to be so much harder to try to convince a nonprofit or a social enterprise to do it. Yeah, it's like, harder. I don't know.
How would you respond? How would you respond to that head trash if the head trash was like sitting in front of you saying that?
You're like, well, it might be harder, but like you can do hard things. And also if you're providing a solution and people need a solution, they're going to find a solution. Like, also you're only so big. Like, how many things do you think you could take on anyway?
Right. And just because a company has lots of money doesn't mean it's easy for them to give it to you.
Yeah.
Right. It is actually not, depending on how you position yourself and who you say you're an expert for or whatever. It's not easier to get money from FedEx versus a, a social enterprise that like believes, and you have told them that like you, through your messaging and through your content, that like you're the absolute best person to solve their problems.
Well,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. But then the head trash for me is like, you don't have a certificate or a degree in like that dumb shit gets in my head.
Do you know who doesn't have a certificate in? Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Brene Brown does not have a certificate. What's that? She's like, everybody's talking about like Mel Robbins or whatever.
Robbins,
yeah. And you don't need it. Your head trash is working overtime. That's, I think, the biggest I'm hearing.
Sure.
Your head trash is working overtime. Whose voice is that?
It's probably just somebody mean who wants to say you're not qualified for this.
Where did you go to college? Okay. And then did you get a master's or something? Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that when you spend a lot of time what's that laugh? Even before
it's like, I can hear it's like, yeah, no, you have a master's degree, you have a whatever, but it's like when you get trained in like critical thinking and stuff, then you like.
Well, okay, there's that, but also when you are sort of steeped in this, mixture of like external validation.
Yeah.
And then it's really hard for you to be like, no, I'm good at this because I fucking like it. I've done it many times. And I don't need a degree or a certification or a, whatever to tell me that I can do this.
Yeah.
And so I think that part of this is like observing your head trash. Because like right now it seems like head trash is winning.
Yeah. It's something like intern. Like, I feel like that's like a critic, inner critic, like persona that I've like identified. Like,
Who's that?
like intern is just like, oh, I don't know, like I can help or, but you're the intern, right? Like you're not the expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's this technique that you can use, anybody can use, you have this like alter ego, right? Like Beyonce has an alter ego named Sasha Fierce, and she's like fierce, right? And it's almost like you have an alter ego, but it's like an intern.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's time for a new alter ego.
Yeah.
Who would this person be?
I mean, she'd be on stage and she'd be like calling it like it is. Like, I don't know, like feministy cheerleader.
Yeah. Who probably would look at intern and be like, get a spine.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a loose connection here to this story, but I was listening to a podcast about a woman who she's a very, very successful business owner, in the millions and millions and millions. I mean, she's a total badass, right? Like Sasha Fierce in the flesh. But every time she would prepare for a board meeting or be in the run up to a board meeting, she would get so anxious and like paralyzed and, the sweats and all of that, even like walking in the door, even though in other areas, she's like a total badass. And her husband was like, he's like, at one point, he's like, I finally figured out why you are so scared of these things. He said, you are still acting like an employee because that's the only thing you've ever been. And I think there's something in here in the mix.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and not just for you, probably for everybody and including myself. Right. It's like, what would, who's already doing this in the future? Like, what would she say to you?
Like, you can take up space, what needs to happen, and you can direct the work. And yeah, see, that's the thing is like, Leah, like I've been the like the neutral, your value is in knowing all the things and getting to learn lots of different things quickly, but not like be the expert in any one thing, and certainly not be the one on stage taking up space. Like I'm writing the speeches for people versus giving them. And yeah, it feels like a totally different space to take up.
How does it feel?
What, to take up space?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I just see you even sitting differently in your chair right now. Like, what does it feel like to just observe this and know that there's a different way to take up space?
It's just weird. Like I've just always been like shy and quiet and like introverted, but it's like, I'm not. Like when I'm up in front of a group and I'm like giving examples and like telling stories and like asking people and like seeing like the reticence and asking what's up and like making a joke or whatever, like it feels very like performance. It's like extemporaneous. It's being like holding the room. Like those are like none of the things that I ever thought, one, I'd be able to do, but also like get paid for, like for that being the value. Like that still feels like it could all just go away because I'm just like, oh, it's a fluke that I'm able to like stand up there and perform, or just, yeah, like as if that's not good enough. Like I should be, writing the report and giving people the report and my values and like having the fact that I synthesize things. And like it is a totally different way to say I can show up and deliver value through doing that. And that is, that's just never been on my radar. Like just like owning a business was never on my radar, like being the person in the room with the big enough voice and like telling people what's going to happen has never been on my radar.
Right. But that's you. I mean, it's not a fake you. That's like the real you.
But it'd be so much more comfortable to like stay behind my computer screen and like do like virtual workshops and stuff. But it's like, I know that's not what I want to do. I would much rather like be on stages and be, in front of groups and be like, nope, I like do that and it takes a lot out of me and I like gotta like recover after it because I'm not a true expert. But like if I'm getting paid enough to do that and then have time to read books on other things and make sense of it and bring it back to people, like that's what I want to do, not like scramble to try to get people to say yes to $1,000 workshop that's going to change their lives.
Right. Well, and just going back to that, I mean, you know, if a 2% conversion rate is good, that means that most of the time you'll have a 98% rejection rate, right? Or no rate. Like, not that people are telling you no, they're just not taking action.
Yeah.
You know, and for somebody who, I mean, what you're describing also is like very much like me. Like I'm very much behind the scenes. I don't love to be, you know, it takes a lot of me out of me to like be up on stage, blah, blah, blah. But for somebody, you know, who as you're describing, it's like a lot external career of external validation, right? Which is what academia is. You have this sort of intern level inner voice with head trash. It does take a lot of like new things to be able to market this thing. And then to have a 98%, you know, no action rate. It's like, oh my God, no wonder the head trash is winning right now, you know? Whereas like, if you could get these, you know, opportunities where you have impact, but because they have invited you in.
Yeah.
You know, and that now you're on stage with your like stage presence and your stage alter ego or whatever. It's just, I have a feeling it'll just build on each other. It'll be a snowball effect, you know? So yeah, let's just take a beat. I mean, what is like you'll get a recording of this or whatever, but like, what's something that's really sticking out for you about this? What we've talked about so far?
Oh, what's sticking out is like, I don't have to pick one or the other. Like, and the piece around like not marketing the services, messaging the value, like that is like, I know that intellectually, but like, I can't seem to make myself do it. And I don't know if it's just like, again, I don't trust the value. So I think for me, it's that piece of like, just having to like own it with that stage presence of like, no, this is the value.
Well, and you're going to, you know, you get to the module where we talk about how to sort of pull out the value and how you articulate the value and whatnot. But I think, approaching it with this sort of new alter ego that you have to replace the old alter ego, and just being confident that, all of this is not for like, this is not wasted, right? Like everything you've poured into yourself and synthesized and made it matter to people and put it into a 4-week thing or whatever, that all has meaning.
Yeah.
You know? And now that thing that you created gets people from one place to another. Like that's real.
Yeah.
You know? That is impact.
That's what I want.
Say it again.
That's what I want.
I mean, think about how you got here, right? Like, so I am not a certified coach. I'm not a certified facilitator. I read and synthesized like 65 books into this methodology that works. Before you learn it, you're a one way. And after you learn it, you can do other things. And, you know, if I had listened to my head trash, I wouldn't have sold it to anybody, you know, or wouldn't have promised that like, after this, you will be a different person. You know, there's a ton of value in being able to take in and synthesize and make it actionable and make it understandable.
Yeah. How did you get through your head trash with that? Like when you're like, no, this is what I do. Like,
who's to say I don't still have it? First of all, first thing I did was, I don't know if any of this was the thing, but it all sort of like combined, right? First, I worked with a coach or did a coach's program to make the program. That's one thing, right? It's like I borrowed their confidence that they know they have a system, right? So that's how I made the first version of my first course. I never stopped improving it. So I saw that where it could be better and I like made it better. So I'm like, oh, now it's going to get people better results, So, and then I saw the results and I hold on to the results. Like there's a reason we have a wins channel. Sometimes I need that, right? If I'm having a bad day and I'm like, oh my God, somebody just, made $100,000 more this year than last year.
Yeah.
Like, but even before that, like I save anytime people say good things about this, like I hope you're saving them in a place.
No, I definitely have the Google file. Yeah.
I also, part of the head trash is like on the, do you have what it takes or are you worthy enough or whatever? I gotta tell you, like when I first started my business, I was reading all these people's bios who were like sort of big at the time, like other coaches or whatever. And I was like, they all had these like stories of, they had hit rock bottom or they'd overcome some like tremendous adversity or whatever. And my imposter syndrome was telling me like, you don't have enough adversity to be good at this, which I know is crazy. Right. And then like 2 years later, I had a stroke. So I'm like, whoa, easy there. Be careful what you wish for. Right. And so I don't know. And that whole adversity thing, like it still sort of comes up. Like I didn't have enough hardship in my life. Like God forbid, like don't want to manifest that. But you know what I'm saying? This thing that says that you're lacking something, it still comes up, but, I also have learned that like, there's no one way to do anything. There's no right way. Like you can have a fully like thriving, profitable business and still be on nobody's radar and not be famous. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you could have 100 clients and be making millions of dollars. Do you know? And so that's the thing that probably helped me the most, that there's like no one way to do it. And other people are allowed to do it their way. I said something that it must have hit something because I saw you write it down. What was that?
Oh, there's no right way to do things. I feel like I keep like looking for like the right way to do things. Like reading people's stuff and like, oh, what's the right way to do things? Yeah.
Yeah. I was, it's funny. I mean, I would bet that we're both perfectionists, right? Or, whatever. So and I thought I heard on a podcast recently, somebody was like, I forgot they're quoting somebody, but they said that, the business grows at the speed at which the founder makes decisions.
Oh,
and yeah. Okay. So that was the first like, oh, right in the chest. Right.
Yeah.
And then, but I've been noticing recently that like, I've been struggling to make decisions recently. I've been really dragging my feet on some things. And then recently, I mean, like within the past few days, I was watching a show with my kids. We watch a lot of like PBS Kids. And one of the characters was like, there's always more than one way to solve a problem. And I was like, oh shit. Like that hit me in the chest too. Cause I was like, the reason I'm delaying on making a decision is because I don't want to make the wrong decision because I want to get it right. But there's always more than one way to solve a problem. And that has unlocked a lot of stuff for me, So what if there is no one way to solve a problem, right? What if there's no right way? Like, then what would you do? Then you tell your head trash to shut the fuck up, right?
Yeah. It's really hitting me because like, I know that decision fatigue and or analysis paralysis and like, it's just really hard for me. But like what feels both like my total strength, but also my total like Achilles heel is just like coming up with ideas and being interested in wanting to learn things. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I want my brain to be able to like say, okay, you can just pause. You get to just turn off and just be in doing mode. Like you have your list of things you're doing and you're just going to do. And like, that's what feels so hard is I don't feel like I have that permission to just be in do mode. Because it feels really scary because it's like, if I do the thing I said I'm going to do, what if it's wrong? What if it's not going to get the result that I want? And then I've been like doing, so it's kind of like this like comfort crutch to be like, oh wait, you can keep coming up with some new ideas. And I'm like much more aware of this now, obviously, than I was years ago, but I know that it's still coming up.
Yeah. Well, if you are just coming up with ideas and you never try to make the ideas happen, then you never fail at any of
Yeah.
the ideas.
Yeah.
Well, let me say also, coming up with ideas is such a gift, right? But like sometimes they just have to go in the parking lot,
Yeah. I know.
you know?
Yeah.
And so now you're at the point where you have the ideas, you get to make them happen, and the fear is finding ways to seep through.
Yeah. And I do want to make it happen. I really do. It would feel so amazing and like relaxing and deeply easeful to be like, you have made a decision that you have two core offerings and you like have your messaging and like you have a methodology, like a whole process you're doing. And now you get to just do it. Like that would feel so nice to my nervous system.
I think that's where we need to go.
And then just like trust, trust that we're just following the plan.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah, that's what feels scary.
Okay. So what are some of your takeaways?
My takeaway is just like, do what you knew you need to do, which is schedule on your calendar time to go through the modules. Like, this isn't like an addition to all these other things. It's like, no, this is what you are doing. It is work. This is the work right now. And just trust. I just want to be able to trust that take what I already know. I don't have to like pull all the different documents of things I've started, but I can just like go into the curriculum and like take what's in my brain and put it into Slack and get feedback and just go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, like, do the lessons.
Yeah.
Sort of see where there are gaps, in what you have so far versus like what we're advising you to do. And then take it to like 80%, turn your brain off, post it in Slack.
Okay.
All right. This was good. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah, no, it was. This is the time that I needed to do it.
Good. All right. I will look forward to seeing you on some calls. I'll look forward to seeing you in Slack. That's how I'll know that you are allowing yourself to really do it.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. I will talk to you very soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Bye. All right. I want to send a huge thank you to my client for allowing me to share that conversation with you. And it's so interesting. I mean, we all have our own head trash, right? But it's not every day you get to hear somebody else's head trash. I mean, the purpose of this podcast and these episodes is to show people you're not alone. And I have a feeling that, even if not every single thing she said was relevant to you, I have a feeling that if you're like most of the women that I work with, some part of that resonated and sounds a little bit like your own head trash. So as you think about this conversation and how it applies to your own consulting business, I want to leave you with a few questions. First, the head trash that you hear in your own mind, whose voice is that? When somebody tells you that you can't do it or you shouldn't do it or, you're not qualified or whatever, who is that? Is it the voice of an old boss, a professor, a family member, or maybe just an earlier version of you? And I want to invite you to get curious about where that voice actually comes from. The second is I want to invite you to picture a future version of yourself, the you who's already doing the thing you want to do, whether it's in your business or in your life. What would that person, that future version of you, what would she say to that head trash? And third, if you can embody a different alter ego, one that drowns out that critic, that head trash, and takes up more space, what would that look like for you? Who's your Sasha Fierce? Because when you can recognize where your head trash is coming from and then choose a more powerful voice to drown it out and guide you forward, then you're not letting fear run the show anymore. You're leading your business and yourself from a much stronger place. And that's how we stop living stuck in the past or being held back and really start moving forward to where we want to be. Because when you can recognize where that head trash is coming from and then choose a more powerful voice to drown it out and guide you forward, then you're not letting fear run the show anymore, and you're leading your business and yourself from a much stronger place. Thanks for listening in. If you know someone who might benefit from hearing this, please share this episode with her. You never know who might need to hear this today. All right, see you next time.